name's Don Smith. I'm in the history department. And I think there's another thread to this I'd like to add. Perhaps I enjoyed this immensely. Let's say I'm in seventh heaven here, and you people talk up there in the panel. This is the theme I want to address. If you have a response, don't just let it die. But to me, the real division, I come from the university division, let me say who I am. I've been here 35 years, retired a couple of months. To me, the real division in the university, which is all I can speak about, is between what they say in advertising. In advertising, if I understand it correctly, there's two worlds. There's the world of the suits and the world of the creatives. The creatives, that's you guys. The suits, that's me. And so this is a theme. When you talk about the university, I think you have to bring this in too. It's got nothing to do with Aboriginal background or non-Aboriginal background or anything. It's the difference between the suits and the creatives. And how can we get them talking to each other? Because I found this so exhilarating today. Absolutely. As if you speak a different language. Because I'm a suit. You're creatives. How can that, if we can get some kind of interchange there, I think we're going to have an explosion. At least all I'm talking about is the university. And AKA, I love your delivery, your content, and we have to go way beyond this university thing, because that's all I know, okay? That's all I can speak about, but we've got to get to the community. So, what do you think? Can we get the suits and the creatives together? Any responses? Armin, you're at the Carlton. Maybe you can take that one. If you don't want to, drop it. Let's go on to some other questions. But that's my thought, and thank you so much.
Question.
Exhilarating.
I mean, you know, the academy is very slow. It's like an iceberg. Although the icebergs aren't melting, so I don't know. But
So is the academy.
So is the academy. And it's so slow, you know, just to even, you know, Marilyn talking about teaching at a creative, you know, creative writing or being a writer in residence. Even when you, I mean, I've had writer in residence. I've done that, and I've also had people knocking on my door because, you know, they're writer in residence and they come and talk to me and they say, you know, nobody comes to see me. I'm sitting in my office. You know, they're in their office, and all the other academics are so busy. They're, you know, on the treadmill and they're working and whatever they're doing. They got their own lives. They just leave. So the writers and the creative people come into the universities and they're left alone. Nobody, you know, nobody's. They're kind of. They're marginalized. So how to bring the two together? I think it's back to what Marie. Can I call you Marie? That's all right. No, anyway, Marie. Yeah, we need more creative types. We need more Aboriginal peoples in the institutions. That's the bottom line. And you know, it's always this barrier. Oh, you know, we're not qualified enough, or we're two of this, or we're two of that. But I think it has to just open up. You know, that's how I see it.
Can I interject?
Sure.
My observation is twofold. My husband's non-native, and he's been putting programs in place and helping the Aboriginal community in Saskatchewan for a long time. And although the University of Saskatchewan is come a long way, there's still systemic racism. It's very entrenched, and there's an unwillingness for the academic community to share a power base. There's a constant struggle of power base, and there's a constant inability to be a human being first and foremost between the suits and the creative people. Okay, and the other that I have observed is, and also the Aboriginal academics that are in our academia are wounded people, and so their power base refuses to be shared with others as well. So it becomes lateral and vertical violence within our own, and coming from all places, the mainstream institute and then our own. So we're struggling double-fold, you know, and that's what I have observed and listened to over the years in Saskatchewan. Even when I was on the Saskatchewan Arts Board, there's one. I sat on that for about 4 or 6 years, and now there's and I got tired of the fight. Eventually, we got some stuff in place, but there's only one board member who's Aboriginal, and what happens to us constantly is we get 7 or 8 white faces and 1 Aboriginal that's supposed to represent 10 nations of our communities, I resent that. How come only one Indian with 10 white faces on a board? That's totally absurd. We cannot, us, represent the whole Aboriginal community. There's just no way. We fight amongst ourselves all the time. We're dysfunctional like anybody else, and that's wonderful because we should argue about the subject and not the person. And people need to learn that. Separate the person and the issue. And it's high time people grow up.
I guess,
Would you like to respond? Go ahead and
Yeah,
respond, and then we'll go to the next question.
there, but I guess I don't see it as a matter of clothing either. Although I do say, our work has to do with clothing and text and designs and all that. What my problem is with the university, it has this weird idea they call democracy, and then they're going way back in history to a mythological place called Greece, and all these people hanging around in these whatever togas or something like that, and so they weren't wearing suits, I guess, at the time. Skirts or something. Anyways, whatever they were wearing. I found that I've had to take apart that idea through some of the presentations I gave, particularly to students in education, because I had to tell them, you've got to check this out. Because if you talk to African people, they have their own different idea about, where ideas came from. They're not trying to preach the thing about Greek civilization. In fact, I actually found an interesting term when I was recently going through this thing about trying to figure out what traditional means, because it's a bit of a puzzle. But as close as I came was that it means about the same as the word democracy, which I think is kind of cute. It's called a floating signifier, which means that it could mean anything. So I think that there is a problem, because I know when I went to university, I had to discover that history is lies. And I think that's the job of the history department, is to be, again, taking that apart. Like, as soon as a Native student comes in there, that class, right away, they should be able to begin where they need to learn, about what is their actually true history. But again, we know they're going to be learning about, civilization, white supremacy, etc. So what can I say? We need to, get on to what is the real knowledge that we need in the world to survive. So that's where I think we've got to cut to. It's not just what we're wearing,